Good evening and welcome to my presentation today. In this presentation, I want to talk about the relationship between Asian media and its audience. First, I want to talk about my chosen media text, Home for Rent, to make you understand more about the concept mentioned in my presentation. And then I will talk about related topics such as crossover and transnational cinema, followed by transnational mediation, then link it back to the movie Home for Rent to clearly see the relationship between them. And finally, I will discuss about Netflix as well as other streaming services in relation to the concept of romance. Let me tell some detail about my chosen media text. Home for Rent is a Thai horror movie which is released in 2023 and inspired by true events. The movie tells a story about a family renting a house in Bangkok, and in this house, they encountered some terrifying supernatural events. The movie represents Thai culture but adopts some Western elements. So, what is crossover cinema? According to Kurana, 2013, page 2, it is an emerging form of cinema that crosses cultural borders at the state of conceptualization and production and then manifests a hybrid cinematic grammar at the textual level, as well as crossing over in terms of its distribution and reception. So, why Home for Rent is crossover cinema? The movie is considered crossover cinema because it tells stories from the perspective of Thai culture, but becomes favorable by audiences from around the world. The movie has been released and welcomed in more than 20 countries, including Singapore, Vietnam, China, Australia, and France. Moreover, the concept of transnational cinema is also necessary for us to understand more about the movie Home for Rent and my presentation today. Transnational cinema is an attempt to study films beyond national boundaries, according to Mita Vivini, 2019, page 134. It is also considered border-crossing cinema. Home for Rent is transnational cinema because besides Western elements like eating fast food, taking rain shower, Western-style houses, and nuclear family, the film also brings in some Thai cultural elements, such as Thai language, reading culture, and Thai dark magic, which is also the scariest element of the movie. Additionally, we also need to understand the concept of transnational mediation, which helps us to understand more about my presentation. Transnational mediation, which emphasizes the insistent cultural flows that escape and or circumvent fixed territories and national structure, according to ATIC 2014, page 5. In Home for Rent, transnational mediation is an adaptation of Western culture, which is cultural flow, and audiences from around the world can still understand the content because it contains Western elements that makes them to understand more about the movie, as Western elements is closer to their culture. Home for Rent has now been released on Netflix, which seems to adopt cultural globalization, as according to Fung and Chick 2022, Netflix is a dominant form of cultural globalization. So, this relates back to the concept of romance. According to Hill 2019, as cited by Hill and Lee 2022, Rumors refer to the pathways and track people make as they crisscross the digital media landscape. And because of that, audiences have sense of right to roam across information and entertainment flows. According to Hill and Lee, 2022, page 99. According to Lobato and Thomas, 2015, as cited by Hill and Lee, 2022, rumors also make a great contribution in developing expectation within the rapid cultural expanse of viewing, streaming, and sharing within formal and informal media economies, as they have the right to roam through subscription services, piracy sites, transnational entertainment platforms, and national cable and public channels. Besides that, roamers can also have the status advantages. While they're roaming through various forms of social media like Netflix not only help us discover what is considered new for the audiences about streaming services and what is old for state regulation and commercialization of entertainment, but also allows us to understand how audiences navigate between internet and broadcast television. Hill and Lee, 2022, has concluded that by acknowledging the concept of roaming audiences, we are able to recognize and analyze the movement of audiences from the perspective of crisscrossing entertainment platforms and traditional television channels. It has been proven that young roamers are more likely to adopt commodified culture, as they are more willing to pay higher costs for exploring transnational entertainment. Therefore, being a transnational mediation means that in order to be favorable on Netflix, Home for Rent is also needs the crisscrossing of rumors to gain a large number of viewers for the movie, as if the content of the movie is favorable by rumors from all over the world. It means that the movie has become crossover cinema whose influence has crossed the national boundaries. So, in conclusion, the concept of crossover cinema, transnational cinema, and transnational mediation can be seen clearly in Home for Rent, while rumors can feel and adopt transnational culture more clearly in Home for Rent, shown on Netflix than on other cinema. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. And these are the sources I have used to research my presentation topic.